Good afternoon, Abbotsford residents. I'm Mr. Pelican. I'm running for the mayor of Abbotsford. On October the 17th, the election will be officially here in Abbotsford. Abbotsford had suffered one of the most heinous acts under this mayor and council that were manipulators. It's well documented, thanks to the Mission RCMP, of what they were doing in the city, originating themselves. Ross Siemens got caught now as the mayor. His best friend is Dave Sidhu. He ran him in the election. He's trying to now distance himself from him. And you can see Dave Sidhu's not getting no promotions. He's not getting nothing. Ross Siemens spent most of his mayor election time here running a gas station where Henry Brown ran the city of Abbotsford. Ross Siemens never cared about this town, and it was a disgrace what he did. The rocks on homeless, down on Gladys Avenue, the changing of zoning on Ron Funk's job site, now the insider trading on Dave Sidhu's piece of property on Tracy Road, the Mackenzie Bog that people got deadly sick, the $71 million missing out of Barrowtown with Jake's Contracting, the elaborate overspending of the police building. Henry will need to run Ross Siemens for the official community plan that he set up that is worth millions of dollars, rigging decisions over the general public. We need a police department that can investigate insider trading. Dave Sidhu's property is insider trading. In return for Dave Sidhu to help Ross Siemens with the South Asian in the Little Rag newspaper he had, and his dad, Andy, at UFE, the RCMP, knew he would have to take a bribe. It was here that Ross Siemens was blackjacked by Henry Brown when he remodeled this gas station to tug it over into Mission rather than pay to take it to Richmond to have it refined and dump it in the aquifer so he could get away without paying the levies and the explosive. This was supposed to be your mayor. This man created a lot of garbage, and he wasn't. It was a Mennonite mob that set up to run the city, block decisions, and he was never there for the community. Ross Siemens was the deputy mayor when Henry's son was in front of him, and he damaged all the homes down behind Lou's Bar and Grill and never came out. He runs from place to place. Ross Siemens was also there when Henry tried to end my life in broad daylight and fled from the scenes. Ross Siemens knew that Henry was using the task force, Vicky Hopes, and all his contacts at the Chamber of Commerce to load him, and he took advantage of it. It was his dad that worked many years here to build a reputation and a life and everything for his wife and his family, and this spoiled brat went and did this. It was Ross Siemens that told me to my face he would be glad to have Henry for a dad. He wasn't after Henry for a dad, it was the money and the influence, and Ross knew better. I'm running for your mayor to open the city books. I'm encouraging a lot of other people to run. I told you Suki Dami, a well-known South Asian here, Gurpreet Rai and Bardi Sandhu. We have to go in and open the city books because this city wasn't being run for the residents. It was being run for business deals, and the changing of zoning of Ron Funk's job site was a prime example without listening to the community. This punk will be crawling on every door there is. He'll be using every avenue there is. And you'll see Vicky Hopes, who is controlled and ran by Henry from the back scenes, only promoting him. And you'll see this advertising. You'll see the Chamber of Commerce, Alex Mitchell, who's got to bend over and take another one again. And you'll see her trying to promote Ross. And you'll see the establishment. I showed you the party the other day of Amric Moran, which was totally illegal, of an establishment and not voters. Mike DeYoung was there, Mark Warkentine, who was a lawyer, and then LLP that knew the zoning of Dave Sidhu's piece of property, Michael DeYoung, a liberal with my conservatives, Corky Neufeld, Jerry Palmer, the downtown core lawyer that hangs here with Ross Siemens. This establishment went in to own this town, and how they got it was under the private police. People were being left for dead. They were being threatened by the task force. And I'm calling on Councillor Mogill to make sure that he does his fair share now, and Bruce Bamman, and I'm calling on everybody. We got to get these assholes out, and we got to get them out and go into the city. They can never see another term. This wasn't even about governing the city. This man was about pure greed. The last three mayors, it took all their time to run the city, and this man has been here full time at his gas station because he never ran the city. You see the quitting of Peter Speranese, the city manager. He didn't call quits. They used it as a retirement after he knew Dave Sidhu's property, insider trading, there's election coming, and he knows I'm adamant about opening the books with the RCMP on Rob Funk's changing of the zoning, the 3,000 people on Cooper's Farm. And October the 17th will be an election. You need a mayor candidate that will open the city books and go after all why your tax dollars were inflated and why they were doing this. They were increasing their own portfolio and their rich in this. I showed you Ron Funk, the verse, how Henry was tied to him and they were getting all the zonings. The council and mayor weren't council and mayor. When Darren Brown, Henry's own son, the proving officer, opened the door that they were at his dad's house on Downs, rigging the decision, it took my MLA and my MP to stand up and call it out. But they were collaborating and they were with Henry. And this is why you saw Pierre Poilievre kick him out. You could see the distance now between Dave Sidhu and now they picked up Amrik Moran. They're going to do that. I'm calling on all the South Asians, not only to kick Ross Siemens' ass, but also on all the other councils that were there. What Patricia Dreesens did on Archway Community Services, taking the money off the farmers, she's appointed there with perfect sense. She's double dipping. She figures if she runs that slowpoke daughter, Ed Fast's daughter, that she'll have a name. Ed Fast was the one that told Rianne Gasper, you're wonderful MLA for Abbotsford Mission. Beautiful, beautiful candidate, well-rounded, all about the people, and the establishment can't get in her back pocket. They were trying to block her, said women shouldn't be in politics. Was it based on race and racism, or was it Henry or Ed really based that women should not have a say in politics? And we saw what Ed and Mike DeYoung and Ross Siemens and all of them did to Suk Mangel. I'm asking Suk Mangel's South Asians, crank it up for me. Help Abbotsford residents. Kick the shit out of Ross Siemens, Dave Sidhu, and everybody that's in there. You have to remember that this is for PR. I'm supposed to shake Ross's hand. This is what they did to jab you in the back. And they stabbed you right in the back knowing you knew who they were where they were stabbing that knife in your back. Abbotsford residents pulled you up and now they're asking for the same treatment. They're asking Suk Mangel, they're asking Mogel, they're asking Gurpreet Rai, Suki Dami, Bharti Sandhu, everybody to come together now. From the South Asians to the Dutch, and open the city books. But we gotta go after this punk. This punk cannot walk around in this town free for what he done on 3,000 on Cooper's Farm. They rigged the decision. Darren Brown showed they rigged the decision. Then Henry's Laverick insider trading. Henry Brown got in a car. He left the city of Abbotsford because he was going to be exposed what he was doing with the mayor and what they were doing behind the doors. And he took the law in his own hands and he tried to end my life. He left from the scene, which would have caused a major spark for all council to call it out. They didn't. Henry owned them and he blackjacked them, and like he said to Ross, if you don't run, you little punk, and put your shit old little face there and get in, and you don't run for me, I'll have Environmental Canada, Fisheries of Ocean, and everything clean up that dirt over in Mission. And I'll have Pam clean it up, bankrupting you and your dad. Jake Siemens sat with me. He bought me lunch. He bought me breakfast and a coffee. And we discussed his filthy son, of what his son did. Here's a man, and I want to make sure his family understands that, his daughters understand that, his neighbors and his wife understand. Stood by. Well, his teammates at the sports center said I grabbed that old witch, that old beaten down witch, Sandy Blue, that hangs around with the police chief, Colin Watson, because that's where he gets his kicks, saying I dragged her up the dress. And they were asking the sports center announcer to kick me out so they could load Ross Siemens so I wouldn't debate him and call him out for this. It was a good-hearted person of our community that I still pray today and said she was a wonderful person. Bharti Sandhu called it out and said the son of a bitches planned it last night with Abbotsford First to do that to Mr. Pelican so Ross wouldn't be scandaled to load him. I'm coming in and I want to be your mayor, but I'm coming in with the weight of the law. And I'm going to drag this little bugger through the town so every mayor can see. But I need the RCMP because the Abbotsford police were Henry's friends. That's why Keelan Olenoff, an Abbotsford police officer, could say, you dropped the video of Henry having counsel in the house up and downs, rigging the decisions over the general public, which is called collaborating. I told you I knew from big developers, or he would personally bury me. Now that takes council and mayor everywhere to rip the Abbotsford police apart because they're under the mayor, and they weren't doing it. And now we got Barreltown Waterworks money missing. So I'm running for your mayorship. And I'm asking all the South Asians, I'm asking the Dutch, I'm asking Mo, I've made it very clear. I'm asking you now to unify and come together. And let's get this shit out of our town. Let's take these Mennonites that Pierre Poilievre said were running the town, the Mennonite mob, and let's show them who this town is, who's the voice of this town, and what the residents say. But I'm going to promise you that, as your mayor, and any mayor that gets in has to open the city books and financially go after him. And this guy's got to go before the Supreme Court. This is something you don't look away from. He figured he had protection because of Henry Brown, Ed Fast, and Mike DeYoung. He thought he was above the law and he could do this. I'm running for your mayor, and I want to make sure what Ross Siemens' family sees it, his wife sees it, his neighbor sees it, and above all, his dad sees what that junk kid, that junk son did, that junk husband did, and that junk father did. This wasn't about governing a city. This man was built on pure greed. And in my opinion, I think he sniffed too much gas vapors and it fried his brains. I'm live, Abbotsford, British Columbia. Ross Siemens' gas station, Abbotsford, BC.